Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Welcome to the 2222222 portal. Oh my gosh, so much fun. What a great energy portal we have. Some of you are already in it. For those of you living in the future in places like Australia or New Zealand, you guys are already in the 222222 portal. I don't know where that just came from, the little thingy here. That just totally happened right now. So I hope you guys are all doing really well. And I just want to pre-apologize for the noise my computer is making. The fan is just, it's time to get a new computer. If any of you guys have suggestions on one that I can use for streaming quality that's good, but also like editing, video editing and things like that, but also doesn't have a loud fan. Like I want a really quiet fan because this has just been uh, an issue. So, hello, Kirsten, One Dat Sun Lover, Christina, how are you? Toxic 2121. Hi, guys. All right, so we've got some 20. I've got some two portal messages for you today. Some that just recently came in as I was kind of grounding my energy before I hit the button to go live. But before I get into those messages, I just want to say really quickly, tomorrow the podcast is going to be so much fun. I have my friend Eon coming on, and she's been on the podcast before as Amalea. Some of you guys may have remembered some of her older shows. She's come on like in the beginning. And she was on the developing, she was part of the developing team of the virtual reality technology that is now being used in the metaverse. And so tomorrow's podcast topic is going to all be about the metaverse and how the way I see it is it's the new matrix. So we're going to get into a lot of this stuff, what she knows, what she's heard. She's got her, she's got some contacts who are working on the technology. And so she's going to give us her perspective. It's going to be a really great show. You guys are going to love it. So that's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so portal messages. This is what I'm calling the unity portal for a couple of reasons. One, because we have all these twos, and two is all about union, right? The number two does symbolize when two, like maybe two separate halves or are coming together, or there's two wholes coming together. When I say two wholes, I mean like two whole entities coming together. And so there is this unity, but also because we're dealing with literally 6 twos, right? We have the February is a 2, the 22 is a 2 twos, so that's 3, and then we have the 2022, which is three twos. So there are 6 twos here, and 6 represents harmony, and it also represents bringing in the earth dimensions of, the number 3 and the 9, which is like the higher realms, and it merges the higher realms and the 3, let's call them 3D energies or earth energies, into one, into harmony. So there's like a unifying energy there as well. I do want to say that I've been guided to also mention that even in the date when you write to -22-22, that's 5 twos. And they also, like, my guidance has kind of said that it's important to also recognize the number 5 in this particular portal, because there are big shifts and changes coming. There's around this particular portal, and I'll get into it as to why, because I am going to talk about the astrological alignments that are occurring with this energy imprint of this particular 2 portal. So, things to be really aware of here is that we are going through a major shift. We're going through a major shift. And I think we can all see that across the planet. For those of you who've been watching what's happening in Canada, it is a great example of what shifts are actually happening. And I think it's important for us to recognize how much there's been a coming together, a unity formed, despite a lot of the opposition that Canada has received from the higher ups. I'm just going to be really careful about my words right now. So we can see that, but it's all to the detriment. I think one of the messages that I did get around that particular situation is, and I've never gotten this before, but I got a sense that this is really putting the nail in his coffin. We know who I'm talking about, the tyrant. And I do not see him. I'm seeing a timeline that is stronger right now that will not allow him to finish his term. So, and I see that this is going to be his own doing. So there's that. I also spoke to a client who I guess someone looked into his astrological chart, and it doesn't look good for him either in that regard. So we'll see what happens, but I do see that that timeline looks a little bit more favorable considering the choices that he is currently making. But on this particular portal, okay, one of the messages that is really important. Oh, what do I do? Do I say that one first? Okay, no, I'm going to give you guys the messages that have just come in, and I've just kind of wrote them down, so bear with me here. Messages that just kind of channeled in right now. The first one is, it's time to come together and truly put our differences aside. So as we're coming into this portal, there's a lot of fortuitous energy right now. For those of you who are in my alchemy program, we talked about this on the call last Sunday. This is probably some of the most favorable energy we're going to see all year. Okay, it is happening right now. And so it's really important to take advantage of the astrological alignments and use them to your advantage and be in alignment with that to take risks and perhaps allow yourself to take leaps, I would say, into areas that you haven't yet done before. And part of this is being able to bring into unity perhaps your dreams and your fears. So how can you merge your dreams and goals to also bring in the union of your fears? And when I say that, it means that a lot of times some of your fears are necessary to show you where you're supposed to be going with your dreams, right? Your fears let you know that you want something deeply. Oftentimes, it's not just yes, our fears are there to tell us, oh, this isn't a good situation. But our fears are also there when you can really understand your own subconscious programming. Your fears are also there to guide you towards your highest potential. And oftentimes, our ego will interpret our fears as, oh, that's not good for us. I can't do that. So one of the messages here it's truly time to put our differences aside in a sense of, first, let's just talk about your relationship with yourself and your future self. And so understanding how do you reconcile those differences so that you can finally merge into really starting to step into your dreams, starting to step into that future life, that future timeline that you've been really wanting to manifest, but perhaps haven't allowed yourself to fully step into. Now, when it comes to your relationships with other people, it's really important to really take stock of where you've allowed yourself to become separated within your relationships. Okay, whether it's your family, your friends, your coworkers, maybe your partner, really take stock of that, because the energies right now are trying to draw everyone together. And we know that, division is something that has always been used against humanity to allow anyone who's particularly in power at the time to continue to stay in power. All right. And especially when it's at the detriment of others. So really, this is about coming together. And there's a reason for this, because when we're talking about a unity portal, okay, when we're talking about stepping into a timeline that is of higher purpose and higher evolution for humanity, we cannot sustain staying in that frequency if we're still worried about like someone else making certain choices or living a certain way or having an interpretation of something and it not be in alignment with you. There has to be a time where you really start to put all of this to bed and allow yourself to rise above that in order for this higher evolutionary timeline for humanity to really start to concrete and crystallize and take a deeper form, really put roots down. The other message I got, another one I got was, it is time for us to move beyond this current experience. We must be ready to let go of the beliefs and ideologies that perpetuate separation. And so this is the kind of piggybacking on what I just said. So it's really, it's so important where we spend our energy. And this is why I did the podcast on mental obesity. Okay. And again, everyone who watches it is just like, wow, like, why are there not more views on this? This is super forward thinking information. I'm telling you right now that what we allow our minds to engage in, okay, is where we're directing our energy. And where we're directing our energy and our focus is allowing for someone else's timeline to take shape while you forget about your own creations. So it's really important for you to start understanding where are you allowing your thoughts to go to more than not, and where are you allowing your energy to be siphoned or to be used, for someone else's benefit. And it would be a very unconscious and also, I want to say, even addictive mechanism that's in place from being so consumed with a lot of the information that is being dispersed right now. There comes a time where you have to say, okay, maybe I need to really dial it back and really not focus on all this stuff and start putting my attention towards me and my creations and what I want my future to stand in harmony with. What do I want my goals? What goals have I set for myself and I'm nowhere near achieving because I'm spending too much time worrying about this or putting too much effort and focus into that, which essentially is creating it. The last message that I got just before starting this was, it is time to lift the veil of your own avoidance of truth to assist in further light being shined into areas cloaked in illusion. So we all carry illusion within our own field, right? None of us are void of illusion in some way, shape, or form. And we're going to have that our whole life as we peel back the layers of illusion and look for the truth and be open to understanding that what we may have thought was truth might be partially cloaked in illusion as well. And we've got to be willing to see that in a different light. And so it's really important to do that, to really be in the mindset and in the readiness, the willingness to be willing to pull back your own veil so that the veil within our external world can be lifted even further. Now, the big message here that I get with this unity portal, for some of you is today already. For others of us, it'll be tomorrow, but we're already feeling the energies, is to stop rejecting our human self. And it's really important because when we talk about, going back to the relationship of yourself, this relationship that you have with your soul and your body is one of the greatest assets you have in this lifetime. In this particular incarnation, past incarnations as well. But right now, because we're at a very interesting time in human evolution, conscious evolution, and this is affecting our DNA, your body is one of your greatest, if not your greatest asset on this plane of existence. And so it's so important to embrace your humanness, I want to even say, Stop identifying with your Sirian aspects or your Palladian aspects or whatever galactic aspects you may be, really tuning into, not because they're not good enough or not because they're not important, but because you're here in this now. And this now, in this body, is what's most important. And your humanness, I don't feel like we've truly uncovered. I think we've like just scratched the surface on what we're actually capable in our own humanness. Like, I'll bet you in your next incarnation, when you graduate, and many of us go on to other lifetimes in other places because we're finished with this particular planet, is we're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm like channeling my human self, or I'm still reconnecting with my human team from Earth, my Earth team. And I really truly feel that there are so many things that we're going to be taking here from this particular lifetime that we have to truly embrace that. And in order to embrace it, we have to embrace this physical existence. We have to embrace the 3D. So when we talk about this idea of the twos, like we have 6 twos, and 6 is, 2 is unity, right? It's about union. 6 is about merging the 3 and the 9 together, which the 9 represents the higher realms and the 3 represents the earth 3D kind of realms. And merging that together for a whole harmonious existence, where this is truly where everything is channeled into great power. So it is so important to not reject your 3D reality, to be okay with its existence. There are necessary elements within this dimension, okay, within this plane of existence that are necessary for you to experience and to engage with in order to accomplish, some of your goals that you set out for this particular lifetime on a soul level. One of the things, and we talked about this on the Alchemy program last Sunday, and I talked about, the importance of merging the mystical aspects of yourself with the mundane aspects of living here. And the mundane is really just this kind of 3D existence. It's like the kind of what we would, as a mystic, you would denote it as boring. Okay. It's like, it's the equivalent of like the Harry Potter, like, those are just the Muggle lifestyle versus, if you're a wizard or, you have a lot more ability. So you just view it as like, it's way more fun. But the true power that all of us are here to not just learn, but examine and deepen and harness is through our ability to utilize the mundane and the mystical together. So bringing the mundane and the mystical into union for a very, I want to say, greater than life kind of experience. And it seems a little bit counterintuitive to someone who may be more allowing themselves to only exist in more of the mystical living as opposed to the 3D living. And I want to say that if you find yourself doing that, you're doing yourself a disservice for this particular lifetime, because you need to be able to channel all of that energy into some of the 3D existence here. So when it comes to, for instance, relationships, one of the things that is so important is to integrate all of your spiritual teachings to date, because there will be more. You will be learning more, and you will be learning more through relationship. I want to say that some of these spiritual teachings you will not learn outside of relationship. And when I say outside of relationship, I mean just on your own. Okay, you need to engage in relationship in order to learn some of these. And so in order to learn, we have to integrate our spiritual teachings into relationships of all kinds, including our friendships, our family relationships, romantic partnerships, co-working relationships. And it's time to put our soul integration to the test. That's what I feel like part of the energies of this particular portal are coming through, is to really kind of put our soul integration to the test. And I say that because we have some very interesting astrological alignments happening at this particular portal time. Now, we just had our Jupiter-Uranus sextile, okay, Jupiter in Pisces, Uranus in Taurus. And that sextile is probably, that happened on the 17th. It was one of the most favorable alignments we're going to see all year. It's denoted as like the lottery alignment. It's when you can maybe expect to see sudden windfalls of possibly money just because Uranus is in Taurus right now, but more so just beneficial and favorable outcomes that you were not expecting to come your way. This would need to happen, though I would say this would be more likely for those of us who are already willing to take the actions of the mundane necessary to bring the mystical into being. Okay, so actualize the mystical through the mundane. And it's interesting because this alignment is bringing in a lot of energy of taking risks. It gets a really good time to take risks. So if you've been thinking about doing something that, again, this is why I'm talking about bringing your fears and your dreams into harmony, is if you've been feeling like you've been holding yourself back, you haven't really been pushing yourself in the way that you know you can. There are a lot of things happening right now on a whole, for the most part. Of course, it's going to depend on your own particular chart and as well as where you are in your own journey. But there's a lot of favorable energy here to support you taking the risks you need to really level up in something that you have held back from. The Jupiter-Uranus sextile, the way I see it is, it's a very unexpected door opening energy. So doors are opening where you least expected them to. Now, we also have the union of Mars and Venus happening at this particular portal time. This kind of started in full conjunction on the 16th of the month, just the day before the sextile of Uranus and Jupiter. And so while we're experiencing this two portal, we also have the masculine and the feminine coming together. We have the desires of Venus and our actions and inspiration of Mars coming together to push something wonderful, something unexpected, something that's expanding us. It's bringing in some sort of good luck or fortune. It's of some sort of fortuitous nature to our path that could unfold here. And so we have this union energy in the sky of Mars and Venus holding hands and traveling together until I believe it's like March 9th is when they start to separate. And of course, they'll still be in conjunction even into the first half of March, because Venus won't really get too far away until closer to the end of the month of March. Also, it's important for us to note is we have now the US Pluto return has occurred. I believe it was yesterday, but we're going to feel it all year. And I believe when Pluto goes retrograde, it's going to hit the return again. And so it's going to happen a couple of times for the US. And this is important because the US is a focal point when it comes to affecting the world. The world is watching, right? The world is watching what happens in the US because it's kind of like that domino. It's that once that domino falls, then all the other ones can fall. And so collectively, Pluto is acting as an energy that, what does it do? It likes to pull the veil back. It likes to get to the truth. It does not like secrets. And so if there is anything that you are not acknowledging within yourself, perhaps because you just don't want to see it right now. Listen, we all go through that. There are moments throughout your entire life. It doesn't matter how awakened you think you are. There are going to be moments where you realize, I just didn't want to see that. And there was a part of me that kind of knew I should have, but I tried to avoid it because it was just uncomfortable. There was maybe some cognitive dissonance attached to that. And I feel that this portal is kind of breaking up cognitive dissonance in many ways. And I think that's going to ripple effect through the collective consciousness as we can see certain events unfolding, like in Canada, and of course other countries as well. So revealing truths that you may not have wanted to acknowledge could be very beneficial at this time for you to maybe really allow yourself to sit with that. Allow the subtleties to become less subtle. Allow what has been pushed down to rise to the surface and allow it to show itself to you, and be open to seeing whatever it might be, even if you really don't want to see it. There are things within each and every one of us that need to be seen. And the more that we do this own healing work within ourselves, the more we can push that to the surface within the collective, okay? Because each and every one of us is a cell on this planet, and the more cells that come into harmony of this, ready to hold that truth frequency, even if it makes our own cell uncomfortable, okay, it allows for others who are uncomfortable with certain truths to get uncomfortable and find comfort in that discomfort. All right, so I think that's it. I think that's kind of like those are the messages that I've been getting to bring into the awareness through my particular platform for this portal. I think that it would be really helpful. And I want to say to all of you, like right now, it's such a favorable time to be taking a risk in a way for yourself, even if you don't see it manifest in the outcome that you always envisioned. There is a reward for you on some level that you're going to discover for yourself. And it does feel to me like there are doors, unexpected doors opening within the energy coming through this portal. So it is a big change. There is a big shift. The important thing here is to recognize where you're allowing your dreams and your fears to keep things separated, and also take a look at your own ideologies and beliefs and how they play out in your relationships with others, because it really truly is time to come together. And I think humanity is starting to reach a precipice. There may be more of this, but I would say that this is at least one of them in the coming future of a breaking point. I mentioned this earlier in January that I feel like 2022 is going to be the year of breakdowns, okay? Lots of breakdowns, a lot of death. And when I say that, I mean more, not so much of the actual physical mortality, although that could be, but more death of the old ways, death of our old self, death of the way we perceive things, death of old systems, and allowing for the rebirth of that. And in order to have these, we're going to be having these breakdowns because Uranus brings through breakthroughs. And so I do see that, I feel, especially in the last couple of weeks, there is a lot of breakthrough energy. I think a lot of us are reaching our breaking points in some facet of our life. I know I have with a particular facet of my own life that I hit my breaking point and I'm like, enough, no more. I can't do this anymore. I have to be willing to move forward into my future. And I had to really take a look at something I had not wanted to take a look at. And I had to get really honest with myself. And so it was time for me to pull the veil back. And that is something that I've done in the last week or two to facilitate me having the best opportunities to open the doors that I want to open for my future, and trust that the universe is conspiring with me as I conspire with my own future self, right? So really, really important here. Do you guys have any questions that you would like me to answer? Let me just take a look here in the chat. Let me see here. Lots of twos. Hello, everyone. Okay, cool. Let me just see if any of you guys have any. Aw, thank you, Dreamweaver. And also, guys, I'll also be doing all signs on Wednesday. So tomorrow's the podcast. Wednesday, I'll be doing all signs. Um, and I'm trying to think if there is anything else. Oh, and for you guys in Alchemy, your timeless reading will be out tomorrow. So check your emails for that one. And I also want to say that one of the things I've, a lot of you have been reaching out to me and booking sessions with me. I do want to say many of you are feeling this. You're feeling that it's the time to really take a risk now. You're feeling compelled to move into your future, to perhaps take an action you've been really scared to take. I have seen that come up in a lot of my sessions with you guys over the last couple of weeks. And I do want to say that, it's so important to believe in yourself. It's so important to believe in your own future and to really lean into a conviction of that belief. It is so important because remember, your beliefs will determine your frequency, which will allow you, which is where you're going to be creating from. And so your frequency will also determine, whether you're staying in a particular timeline that you're trying to break free of, or if you shift into one that allows you to experience the things that you've been dreaming about. So it's really important right now I want to say, trust in your own self, really turn inward, stop worrying about all of the shoulds. And when I say the shoulds, I mean when you look at what other people are doing and you compare yourself, don't compare yourself. Know that you are a unique being. You came here with very unique codes that are held within you that will only be released through you and what you do with that, your own manifestations, and that there are people waiting for you to do that. And it's important to step into that now. We've got the March energies coming up are going to be very, very action oriented, very action oriented. So get ready because you may want to start planting seeds of little action steps right now, really getting your heart and mind on the same page to walk a path that your soul is pulling you towards. And get ready to take some kick-ass action in March that again will leave you with some very big energetic footprints for the year to continuously manifest from that energy. And I think that's important because, this is why on the call on Sunday, I really focus with you guys in Alchemy on forming success habits, okay, through the mundane, and understanding that the mundane is simply your success habits. That's all that really is. And it helps to make sure that your mystical aspects of yourself and dreams are harnessed with success. And at this particular time, as we're leaving February and going into March, there is this really big potential to create an energetic footprint that will carry you throughout the entire year and into 2023. It's not about just creating one moment of success. It's about creating successful moments that tie together in this beautiful string of success that leads to one, leads to another, leads to another. So it's not about a flash in the pan kind of experience, and that can be determined through your ability to take action through March. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there for you guys, and that's a little preview for those of you in Alchemy on what we're going to be talking about next month. So all right. Gracious love, will Trudeau resign and face justice? The only thing I can say is my feeling was that he'll either be forced out or he'll resign before his term is finished. And I say that in an essence of, I feel like that's not a certainty. I don't feel like that's a certainty. The timelines are just fluctuating so much right now. But for the first time, I got that feeling that possibility was becoming more of a reality than before. So there's definitely some positive energy there. And again, I feel like it's his own doing. He's making some really ridiculously stupid moves right now. So, yeah. Christina, you're so cute. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Have a wonderful portal day. Use the energy, meditate, take action on something, take a risk, bring something together, unify something, harmonize something, and let that energy kind of percolate in your field and watch it manifest in real time so that you can kind of kickstart this portal energy and then use it in your day-to-day going forward. Like these portal energies aren't just about like a day or two or three and you just capitalize on the energy and that's it. This is about utilizing the energy and then transmitting it through your own consciousness and body. And remember, again, your body is one of your greatest assets here on earth. One of the things that I wrote in my first book, I literally dedicated my book to my body because it became my greatest teacher in my 30s. And I still believe it is my greatest teacher. I've learned so much through the communication of my body with me, helping me understand things in this reality as I am feeling them in other realities. And so your body is going to be your greatest asset, which means if you are struggling with creating a harmonized relationship with your existence in this particular reality, then, excuse me, you are, how do I say this? You're not able to really fulfill what it is that you came here to fulfill. Because if you didn't need this body to do what you needed to do, then why would you be here in the first place, right? There's a reason why you're here in this body. So start integrating a really healthy relationship where you're respectful of it, you're communicating with your body, you're loving your body, and you're starting to recognize how you can use your own technology within your body to amplify what you're already receiving through your own consciousness. Okay. So I love you guys so much. If you need to book, if you're feeling a little off your path or you're needing some kind of intuitive guidance, I'd be more than happy to work with you. All links to book sessions with me are in the description below at my website, NicoleFrolick.com. And if you wish to join Alchemy, you can. And if you want some fun merch, I'm wearing one of my hats right now. This is in my merch store, also in the description below. Guys, have a wonderful 2222 portal day, and I'll see you guys on the podcast